Cole from Last Bell Boxing, joined by MMA legend Dan Hardy, fellow Nottingham, fellow Clifton. How are you, Dan?
Really good, mate, really good. Nice to be here.
So my channel's Last Bell Boxing, originated in Nottingham. Make sure you check it out on YouTube. So coming to the main event then, give us your take on it, especially from an MMA background.
Well, I think obviously Ngannou's confidence is going to be up because of what he did against Fury. I think he's realised himself as a boxer, and I think he's going to be far more aggressive in this fight. But I also think, AJ's a bit of a slow starter. He likes to read his opponents a bit and try and see where he's going to find his way in, not overextend himself too much. He could potentially let a couple of rounds slip away from him while Ngannou's just kind of working and landing some good power punches. I really wonder what AJ is going to do when he either feels the power of Ngannou or locks up with him and feels that physicality, because that's where the mindset can shift a little bit. I mean, on paper, AJ's got all the skills that he needs to be able to keep Ngannou off, work on him with his lead hand, set up that cross like he did against Helenius beautifully, and just kind of stay safe. But it's easier said than done.
Just looking back quickly on the Fury and Ngannou fight, just give us your view. Who won that fight, Dan?
Look, I'm scoring it from an MMA perspective. I felt like Ngannou won it. I did. I'm potentially not scoring the nuances of the boxing judges, but I did have Bunsey and Cole Frampton with me, and they were going, I think he's winning this fight. Look, I think if you stripped away the names and the faces of those guys, and there was no branding or background or record associated, I think the people would have scored for Ngannou. But the expectation for Fury to win almost meant that if they made the distance, it kind of had to go in his direction.
And can I ask you a bit of a cheeky one for one Nottingham lad to another? Where does it leave UFC when people like Ngannou has to come over to boxing to earn, as he says, a good payday?
Well, first of all, it's left the UFC heavyweight division in a bit of disarray. I feel for Tom Aspinall because, we want to see the John Jones fight. He's injured. We're not going to get to see the Stipe fight because he's going to wait for Jones. And with Ngannou out of the equation, he's not really got the people that he needs to solidify himself as the best heavyweight on the planet. And that's really where the UFC have lost with Ngannou moving away, because now they've got an injured John Jones who they're still trying to pitch as the best heavyweight. And we're not really sure, And then at the same time, you've got Ngannou stepping over and hanging with Fury. And, he's got a good chance against AJ as well, I feel. It's really going to put things on their head if he's successful on this night.
I'm not a massive UFC fan. I don't proclaim to know everything about it. But do you think having more than one promoter and more than one person at the helm would help UFC grow?
I do think it would, yeah, absolutely. You look at the other organisations around, of course, the PFL. We've just purchased Bellator, so now that's two big organisations merged into one. They're going to still be functioning separately, but there is a benefit in one championship and Octagon and Aries and Cage Warriors. All of these other promotions and organisations still growing mixed martial arts in their region, absolutely. And, we've got Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren sitting on the stage next to one another. Now we're going to get teams versus teams boxing. That sounds like an MMA show to me.
On that note, Dan, good plug for the MMA. Really appreciate you giving us time. Thank you for talking to Last Bell Boxing, and we'll speak to you soon.
No worries, mate. Great talking to you.